Hi and welcome. So today I wanted to share with you 3 different ways that you're triggered into your emotional eating. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And I thought this would be interesting to help you start seeing where you might be triggered into your emotional eating. And part of the reason I want to share this is because when I look at emotional eating, I don't just sort of blanketly say you're emotionally eating. Sometimes we're emotionally eating because of other reasons, and sometimes it's because of true emotion. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about that. And, of course, when I was on my own emotional eating journey, I had no clue about this discernment. I just felt that I was constantly hungry. I was constantly wanting to eat, and I didn't realize that there was this discernment. There were these different things going on. And so emotional eating can be triggered in 3 different areas. And when I work with clients, we work through each of these areas to make sure we're catching all of the triggers, if you will, so that we're not, sort of doing one thing when we should be doing another thing. And so I'm going to share with you those areas, and they actually follow along the Emotional Eating Evolution program, which is my step-by-step program that I guide clients through. So the first area we're going to start with that you might be triggered in is around food and nourishment. And this is really interesting because I've heard time and time again that, we'll kind of blanketly say, I've been emotionally eating. And it's because we probably have been restricting all day. And so there is this element of true emotions under this, but if we've been restricting our calories and we haven't been really nourishing our body throughout the day, our brain is going to want more calories, and it's going to prompt us to think about food. We're going to obsess about food, and we're going to, when we do eat food, we're going to be ravenous because we haven't been nourishing ourselves throughout the day, and we just want to eat and eat. There is this underlying layer under this of why are we restricting in the first place and not listening to our body's cues for food? And, why are we not nourishing our bodies and why are we restricting? So there is this sort of thought loop happening under the surface, which can also trigger sort of more shame. And that shame can then trigger emotional eating. But here around food, we can look at it. Are we nourishing our bodies enough? Do we know when we're truly hungry versus emotionally hungry? And have we been restricting throughout the day? I see this time and time again with clients that are not in touch with their body and they're disconnected, which is most of us, that they don't know when they're truly hungry. And, they think they know about what's nourishing them, but they don't have a way of discerning that. So here, it's an important place to really look at, do you feel satisfied with your meals? Are you really satisfying your hunger? Or are you just looking at the calories and the fat grams or whatnot? The second area that might be triggering your emotional eating is around your body. And so again, these are the physical things that we can be doing. So are you over exercising at the gym? Are you just pushing past your limit and not, let's say, resting enough or getting quality sleep? Are you not having the right movement for your body? And so those can physically trigger emotional eating in the sense that we're impacting our hormones, which then creates the surplus of hunger. And so then we're eating because we've imbalanced ourselves on this deeper level. An underlying sort of emotional trigger there could be the shame around our body. Do we accept our bodies? Do we then punish ourselves at the gym? Are we telling ourselves negative things? So that sort of loop is feeding into the emotions of shame, and then we will emotionally eat for that. And so that's sort of where we can see more of the deeper trigger. And so if we look at now the last layer or sort of the last area that we can be triggered into our emotional eating, this is purely around the emotions. So the other areas, we are not feeling good, but here it's really about those, maybe the shame from our body or, looking a certain way, or just in general, not feeling discomfort throughout the day or feeling uncomfortable emotions or having an uncomfortable situation come up in our life. And these emotions are coming up and we don't know how to deal with them. And because of the way we've been conditioned and how our emotions were sort of dealt with when we were younger, we jump into emotional eating because that's the only way we know how to cope with these emotions. And so we never really learn how to be with these emotions, to move through them, process them, resolve them at this deeper level. We just jump to food to soothe. And so here it's important because those emotions are triggering sort of us to go towards food. And what we need to do is really get into the emotions. And from here is what I see with clients is that this pattern is usually coming from childhood, and there are sort of deeper unresolved issues that we need to look at. It's not super scary as it may sound. It's just really going back there and resolving this trauma and moving forward in a way that's going to meet your true needs. So food is not going to soothe your discomfort. It's really a band-aid, and we go back and find out individually for you what you would have needed then and even now. And because it all is really one, to really feel good and to move through these emotions. And so these are the three areas that I see clients being triggered into their emotional eating. Each one feeds into the other. And there are this underlying element of disconnection. When we're disconnected from our food and our body and our emotions, we've never really learned how to be healthy and have a healthy relationship with them. And so, the deepest layer is really about our, those unresolved emotions under our emotional eating. But all of these areas play a role, and they can be happening simultaneously throughout the day. And so when I work with clients inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program, we work through these layers in a particular order, but they can be happening in your life. But it's to give you the tools so that you know how to navigate this. Because if you are restricting and not eating enough and then obsessing about food, and then you try to work on the emotional sort of emotions under that, then you might be lost. So yes, there's a limitation there of you thinking, why do you have to restrict? And yes, we can work on that. But if you keep sort of restricting the amount of food you're physically eating, you're still going to have those obsessive thoughts. So we have to sort of merge the two. So this is how the work kind of continues and is happening interchangeably. So emotional eating, I always say, is a really multifaceted issue. It's multi-layered, but it kind of all boils down to not being connected to food, our body, and our emotions. And once we start connecting back and really checking in with ourselves, what works for us, and connecting back to ourselves, the pattern starts dissolving. And so this is just, so amazing. It's not that you have to willpower your way through this. It is nothing about willpowering. It's about really resolving and deeply connecting back to yourself, and things fall into their rightful place. And so you start feeling amazing in your body and confident and at ease and free, and feeling that way around food as well. And so this is not about willpowering. Like I mentioned, willpower is just a little bit of fuel to get us started, but it's not going to keep the ball rolling. So if what I'm saying is resonating with you and you want to get started on your journey, you can download the free guide, What Are You Truly Hungry For? So this guide is all about discerning true from emotional hunger. So this can get you started just to see that difference between the true and emotional hunger. And if you feel like you're ready to dive in, you can also find out more about the Emotional Eating Evolution program. I'll leave the link below. And just let me know if you have any questions. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. And I look forward to sharing more with you. And I hope you have a great day.